And happy Sunday, folks. We are live on the Husson Eagles Sports Network. We got a matchup between two teams who are struggling to find their modes right now, but have plenty of potential to spare. We've got the Colonels of Curry College and your Eagles of Husson University. Hello, everybody. I'm Sam Miller alongside Max Sturm. Max, we'll start with Curry. So far this season, 0-5, have not taken a set from any games that they played. What do they have to do to come out on top tonight?
Like you said, Sam, coming in at 0-5, they have not won a single set all season long. And that's a morale killer for sure if you are Curry College. However, what they need to do, Sam, is just take some time to set up a play. Really, don't try your hardest to get the ball over the net immediately and try to rush points. Set something up. You have people who can make plays on that team. Set something up and make a play. Make smart decisions. Find open areas of the court to put the ball or to kill the ball. The Eagles, as we saw on Friday, often leave a lot of space open in the middle of the court, just past that first line of defense. If they're able to get some lobs or some really hard kill spikes down onto the floor, they'll be able to get some points on the board and maybe keep themselves in this game.
Could have said it better myself. Going back to the Eagles, their last game against the Pilgrims of the New England College, coming away with a 1-3 loss in 4 sets. Had about 56 digs, 44 assists, combined 155 attacks on that game. Seemed like they were really amping up the aggression on the offensive side of the ball, Max. Do you think we're going to see a little bit more to that today?
I think we should expect them to be aggressive. I mean, they had such a good – they didn't win, but they were down 2-0, Sam, on Friday, remember? And they came back and made it an interesting game, won that third set, and then by 2 points lost that fourth and final set. And we really saw a lot of upside from the Eagles. One of those being Olivia McIntyre, who had 39 assists on Friday. Just an unreal number. And then we also saw some up-and-coming freshmen making plays. Michaela Gray had multiple crucial kills to keep the game close down the line or down the stretch. And Kimberly Daniels had 11 kills in that game. And Amanda Morse, 10 digs, which helps to really spark that rally.
Absolutely. Both these teams with so much untapped potential, but we're going to see a lot of that showcase today. We're going to send it on down to our PA announcer, Joseph Swanson, for starting lineups and the national anthem. Don't go anywhere, folks. You're listening to the Husson Eagles Sports Network.
And now, let's meet the starting lineup for your Husson University Eagles. A sophomore from Volleyball, Connecticut, number 4, Alana Perudi. A sophomore from Centennial, Colorado, number 10, Gianna Fresco. A senior from San Jose, California, number 11, Olivia McIntyre. A senior from Westerly, Rhode Island, number 12, Alexa Fields. A senior from Brighton, Massachusetts, number 13, Cam Schweitzer. A senior from Malden, New Hampshire, number 16, Julia Levitt. And a freshman libero from Owens Mills, Maryland, number 18, Amanda Morse. The Eagles are coached by Alex Gordon. He was assisted by Carl Lessig, Andrew Moore, and Corey Poole.
And we're back just about to get things underway here. Run through the starting lineups one more time. First for the Curry College Colonels, number 3, Jenna Cotter. Number 4, Emma St. Cyr. Number 7, Megan Abbott. Number 9, Phoebe Savas. Number 11, Lauren Gideon. Number 13, Emma Hobart. Number 15, Sonia Matheson. And number 19, Kyla Earls. And for your Eagles, we got number 4, Alana Perudi. Number 18, Amanda Morris. Number 10, Janet Presscorn. Number 11, Olivia McIntyre. Number 12, Alexa Beal. Number 13, Cam Schweitzer. And number 16, Julia Levitt. Max, I think we're in store for a very good matchup today.
If it's anything like the matchup on Friday versus New England College, we are certainly in for something. We saw the Eagles gain a lot of momentum down the line of that game, just weren't able to close out that fourth set. And again, that was only a 2-point set that ultimately decided the game. Look for the Eagles to attack early. I think you touched on that before we went to the PA announcement. The aggressiveness needs to be there for the Eagles. They are now 1-4, and it's about time that they start picking it up and really getting the season going. You need to have that momentum to go into conference play.
Absolutely, and if you're head coach Alex Gordon, you're still kind of feeling out your team right now. We touched on the freshman talent that has really been accumulated this season, especially. He's definitely just trying to feel out what lineups work the best, and we're going to see a big start in that today. As McIntyre back to serve. Had 2 service aces in that last game. We are underway as that one's dug up. And immediately, the Eagles started off with an ace.
And that was just a great serve. Not a lot of speed on it, but just placed perfectly in a place where the Colonials were not able to get it. A lot of open space in the middle of that floor, Sam. And another one.
Number 2 on the day for Olivia McIntyre. Tied for her high in the game the other day against the Colonels of New England College. Already getting hot, and Max, that's just what you want to see if you're the Eagles right now.
Yeah, and Matheson for the Colonels was supposed to step up there, I believe, to try and make that play. The ball kind of just ended up in the same spot. They'll get a chance to serve now.
As the ball goes back to the Eagles off the service area from McIntyre, here is Emma Hobart. The jump float, dug up by Morse. McIntyre, Perudi with a dump right over the butt, dig up right there. That one, left-hand side, dug up by the Eagles. Looking for a woman, finds Schweitzer. And that one's off the hands of Laura Gideon. That's Cam Schweitzer getting involved early.
Yeah, Schweitzer had a very quietly good game on Friday, was one of the main players we saw up at the front of that net. Made a lot of assists, but also did her fair share of spiking and killing the ball, putting points on the board. Certainly, Coach Alex Gordon has to be happy with how this game is starting.
Schweitzer, number 2 on the team in blocks with 8 on the year. Sitting right behind Alana Perudi. Those two really eating it up in front of the net. As this is Gianna Presscorn back to serve. The Eagles building up a small lead early on. As we got our official taking a look over our stats over there, making sure everything's all prim and proper and correct.
Yeah, we talked about it on Friday, just how many stats, how many statistics there are in the game of volleyball. You have to make sure that they're all taken down right, and it looks like it's a 1 or 2 person job over there, so it is a lot to keep track of.
Yeah, no kidding. Volleyball is definitely one of those sports, as you said, Max. Every single thing in this game is a statistic in some shape or form. So definitely got their hands full down there. Nonetheless, our talented crew down there making sure that everything is good and working properly. Another way we can touch on the Eagles in that last game against New England College. 44 aces, 39 of those assists, 39 of those coming from Olivia McIntyre. Mass, what do you think we need to see from her in order for the Eagles to be successful today?
Exactly what she did on Friday. Was able to really just create great opportunities for her teammates, whether it was freshmen like Kimberly Daniels or a seasoned vet like Cam Schweisler. Just was able to get the ball to any player who was around and set them up for a perfect play. Of course, the Eagles came up short in that game, but it's really impressive what they were able to do after being down 2 whole sets. It was an entirely different ball game for those last 2 sets.
Head coach Gordon, former assistant coach at Monroe State University, he loves to specialize in receive, serves, and defense. Very all-around game. As that's dug up, Abbott from right there. Morris with a dig. McIntyre looking for a woman. Daniels, who just checked in. That one's going right off the side. And Daniels, as we talked about in that last game, had her paw prints all over that match. She gets involved early.
Yeah, and Daniels hadn't played more than 4 sets prior to the game on Friday versus New England College. But I really think Alex Gordon liked what he saw, as the Eagles are going to get another service ace. Sam, that is 3 to start this game.
A pair for McIntyre, 1 for Prescott. The Eagles are rolling right now with their serves. We saw a lot of service errors last time for the Eagles. That was definitely something that kind of shot themselves in the foot with that. Nonetheless, as we got a service error right there, we're going to go back to the Colonels. But yeah, those service errors really costed the Eagles in that game ultimately. We saw in that last one, they had 18 service errors in that match against New England College. So definitely want something to look out for and clean up as the season moves forward.
And a lot of those came early on in the game too, just trying to put a lot of velocity on the ball and on the serve.
As Schweitz tries to dump it over the middle, dug up by the Colonels. Bumped right over. Press corn right underneath. McIntyre looking for Peruti. Off the head of Megan Abbott. Peruti with a little emphasis on that kill.
My goodness, Sam, that was a high velocity kill right there. Peruti has been pretty good for them on the front line, but also in assists. Peruti with 10 kills so far on the season, making 11 now.
As Morse's serve goes right over the net. Right over to Earls, who is leading the Colonels in kills this year. That one a little bit too strong for Daniels. Going to go right back to the Colonels. And the Colonels now, slowly but surely, trying to build up a little bit of a comeback here.
Colonels are trying to get something going here. They've only had about 2 serves in this game so far. And we'll have another discussion, maybe some substitutions coming in here. They're going to try to get themselves back into this game. Only 3 points, but Sam, these points add up and these errors add up.
Absolutely. This is Abby Sosa checking in and gets herself on the board with a little ace right there. Bounced right off the hands of Morse and McIntyre as Sosa checking in immediately and getting things done.
Morse just went for a diving dig right there, was able to get it up, and like you said, McIntyre kind of just tipped the ball. Morse was not back on her feet yet. So that'll result in a point for Curry College.
Dug up by Daniels. A little miscommunication there from the Eagles. Didn't really know who was going for that ball. Nonetheless, 2 straight serves for Sosa and looking like many more to come at this point.
And I think that was part of the problem for the Eagles on Friday, Sam, was early on in the game, a little bit of miscommunication. We talked about how teams kind of try to feel each other out early in the game, see what each game plan is, and sometimes not everybody's on the same page, and it takes a little bit to get to that comfortability with your team.
Right on cue, Schweitzer tips it right over the hands of the newly checked in number 24 for the Colonels. That's Morgan Kramer. Schweitzer having herself a pretty solid game so far, 2 kills already. She'll take a seat and be replaced by Johnny Travis, who was a few of those freshman players who had an incredible game on Friday. As we see right there, gets on the board and first serve gets it going.
And same thing as Friday. Travis enters the game and immediately puts a service ace on the board for the Eagles. I'm telling you, Sam, the freshmen that are on this team are extremely talented, and the future of the program looks very bright.
Is that one bounced off the front of the net? Ball going to go back to the Colonels? Absolutely, Max. I mean, if you're head coach Gordon, you're seeing this development from your players so early on this season. It just goes to show like what the future could look like for the Eagles down the road.
And Alex Gordon, of course, one of the people you have to give credit to for scouting these players and for bringing them in and teaching them the game. But I think you also have to throw some credit out there to the seasoned veterans of this team, like Olivia McIntyre or number 13 Cameron Schweitzler, who have been on this team for 4 years and just really have taken these younger players under their wing.
As Daniels, that one dug up by the Colonels. They're back over. Morris with the hustle play. Presscorn, too much mustard on that play. Got to respect the hustle plays from the Colonels. Really turned a bad situation into a blessing right there.
And Presscorn did about all she could do right there. The ball was pretty low. Can't really get a good angle on that when you're pretty much in line with the net. It's a very difficult play to make.
Number 15, Sonia Matheson, the junior from Voluntown, Connecticut. Dug up that last play. She'll be back to serve. Matheson having herself a fantastic year as well. Has about 5 kills on the year, 5 service aces, 17 digs for her team. Very versatile player, a jack of all trades, if you will, for the Colonels.
And the Husson Eagles band having a little bit of fun as the statisticians get things figured out. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, my goodness. What is the statistic error down there? I mean, you know, yep. The last thing my bingo card that I had on it for the day was the Husson Eagles pep band playing the Jeopardy theme song.
Oh my goodness!
In a volleyball game today. That
is just hilarious.
Absolutely. Now we're waiting, and to this beautiful music, let's talk about the Colonels. As yes, they've been struggling, but they do have a lot of good pieces for this team. For example, Nia Earls, number 19 for the Colonels, leads them with 25 kills this year, having herself a very solid campaign for this Colonels team that has been struggling all year.
And they have been struggling, but yes, of course, some bright spots on the team. You talked about number 19, Kaya Earls, but also Ava and DeForest for the Colonels have put up some kill numbers. They have been the point scorers, and maybe that's where they need to go with the ball to try and get some points on the board. They've kind of been all over the place so far in this game. Nonetheless, have been able to keep it within 2 points due to some errors on the Eagles side. And Sam, that band is still going. There must be some discussion down there.
Absolutely. I mean, like we talked about, doing stats for any sport can be kind of difficult, but volleyball is just a whole other league of just pure trickiness. And back to the Colonels, along with Earls, Emma St. Cyr, number 4, the sophomore for the Colonels, having herself a fantastic year distributing the ball, has a total of 36 assists on the year. Very, very good at distributing the ball to her teammates. So definitely want to get her involved, get her as many touches as possible in order for the Colonels to be successful.
And it looks like, thought for a second there, we might be getting back to some action. Again, our team down there at the statisticians box, probably working very hard. Talked about how much it goes into taking stats for volleyball, and there are less people working down there on the stats today, so it is an extremely difficult job.
Imagine they just start playing the Wheel of Fortune theme song after this.
Oh, after that, Sam.
After all the game shows, you know, just first Jeopardy, Wheel of Fortune. Maybe we'll see Family Feud next. You never know.
After that, I wouldn't be surprised by anything the band plays out here on the court today.
Credit to our talented Husson Pep Band. They are always here at every sporting event of the Newman, just showcasing their love and respect for their team and playing some absolutely killer songs. So a lot of respect and love going towards them. As we wait for play to resume, let's go back to the Eagles side of things. That last game against New England College, 56 digs in total for that game, but a lot of that has come from number 8, Beatrice Tersey, the senior from Stratford, New Hampshire, who has really had an impact on her game for her entire team this entire year, but it's been her defense that's been really shown through for the Eagles.
Yeah, and 14 digs in that last game, as you mentioned. And really her and Amanda Morse, I think we saw them running across the court multiple times, just making saves. Amanda Morse had one of those arm diving digs. Just a lot of athletic ability on that team and a lot of defensive talent on this Eagles squad has kind of kept them in a lot of these games that they've been playing. I know some of the final scores of 3-1 don't show that, but as we saw on Friday, it was more of an exciting game than we really saw with than the scoreboard shows.
Absolutely. I mean, I was able to catch up with Olivia McIntyre not too long ago, and she's always talking about how much she loves how much her team loves having fun, and we've seen a lot of that as well. I mean, obviously volleyball, any sport's going to be competitive, but when you add that level of fun to it, it just makes the game so much better. And in that game against New England College, we really saw that. We saw a lot of fast-paced action. We saw everybody getting involved. McIntyre really just taking a leadership role this year, just embracing her team, embracing all the hardships. As we are finally ready to resume play here, everybody in the Eagles' nest getting ready to rock as we are up here, as this will be Matheson out back. Ready to resume play. And here we go, as this one bumped up by Travis. McIntyre looking for Presscorn. Top right over. And save dug up by Matheson. Oh my goodness, what a dig right there.
Oh my goodness.
Presscorn, that one's good. Oh my goodness, Max. I mean, what a volley we had right there. It looked like for just a minute, the Colonels just were out of luck there, but Matheson came out of nowhere to save the day, but nonetheless resulted in a point for the Eagles.
Yeah, the result is the same, but you love to see the effort from Matheson. Ball was almost on the ground for 2 hits there, and the Colonels able to make something of it. It just, unfortunately for them, goes in the Eagles' favor with Presscorn's kill.
As that one's dumped over by Peruti, Matheson tried to get it over to number 24, Kramer. Try to dig it back up, but nonetheless, ball will stay with the Eagles as this is Beal. Number 12, Alexa Beal going back to serve. Beal, one of the many veteran presence Max has been talking about, having herself a fantastic year. 13 kills, 7 service aces. Has really established herself here for the Eagles. As that one dug up by Matheson once again. Travis, McIntyre to Presscorn. A little bit too much power on that one. Going to go back to the Colonels.
And the Eagles are continuing to target that far corner, as it looks like that's what the Colonels are sort of giving up with, is in terms of open space. But Sam Matheson with an incredible dig. I believe it was McIntyre and Schweisler, Beal rather, just went off onto the bench, but with a 2-person block, and it was sent back with a lot of speed, and Matheson able to pick it up and get the volley back over.
As Peruti once again getting it over the hands of Megan Abbott and Emma Hobart on that right-hand side of the court. As Schweizer checks back into the game and McIntyre back to serve. McIntyre already 2 service aces in this game. Tied her game high in the game against the Pilgrims of New England College. So let's see if she can kind of keep that rolling here. Serve is up. Matheson, St. Cyr looking for a woman. Gideon, saved by Morris. Presscorn looking for a woman. Finds Schweitzer, tapped up by Hobart. Gideon, tapped up by Matheson. There's the dig from Morris. McIntyre looking for a woman. And bounced off the hands of Matheson. Another great volley for both teams.
And just a crazy sequence again. We just got done talking about Amanda Morris's defensive ability and the digs that she made in that game versus New England College. Another one-handed dig by Morris saves the play and eventually able to set something up for Presscorn. And the Eagles now with a 5-point lead early on in this game, something that they didn't really have They didn't have much of a lead in that last game.
This one's dug up by Morris. Looking for Presscorn. Tapped right over. St. Cyr. Matheson finding Hobart. Tap right over. Presscorn with a dig. McIntyre to Schweitzer. Dug up by Earls. St. Cyr will reset. Hobart looking for the kill. No good there. Dug up. There's Schweitzer. St. Cyr with the set. Over to Matheson. Gideon looking for the kill. Just out of bounds. Another great volley right there from both teams.
And we can credit the Eagles all we want with how well that they are playing right now. But the Colonels, really these last few volleys, Sam, have shown a lot of potential. They're just not able to close the deal and capitalize on some of these kill opportunities.
Any team in a rush looking for their first win, as they'll catch a break right there off the service error from McIntyre. But yeah, these teams like the Curry College Colonels, who are just kind of in a rut right now, trying to find their mojo, they're consistently hungry for that win, and they are never a team to take lightly. You bag a rabid dog into the corner, eventually they're going to bite, and that's what this Curry College team is trying to do right here.
Well, remember, New England College came in also winless, 0-4 on the season, and they came in here and had a pretty dominating win, 3-1. Of course, the Eagles almost brought it within one set, but you can't really underestimate any opponent, especially in volleyball where the momentum changes all the time.
That's the beauty of sports. Anything can happen, especially here in D3 volleyball. Can't get any better than this. As Prescott goes back to serve, Julia Levitt goes to the bench, subbed in for Daniels. Earls with the dig. St. Cyr looking for a woman. McIntyre. Morse looking for Schweitzer. Met at the net. Nearly dug up by Daniels. But the Colonels there catching a break as they finally reach double digits.
And the Colonels just a great job there getting the ball over the net and re-tipping it after Schweitzer had a block and then another set. They were able to return the ball back over the net, and they've been finding that open space that we were talking about earlier, Sam, where the Eagles are leaving it open.
Earls with a two-hand receive. Gideon tries to get it up over the net, dug up by Morris. McIntyre looking for a woman, looking for Presscorn. Tapped over there, just tips the side of the net, and Presscorn getting involved really early, has about 3 kills to start this game, as she is putting her pop rinse on this game.
And Presscorn all game was going for those high-velocity kills. This time just lays it over the net, again in that open space that we talk about. This time the Colonels leaving that space open, and Presscorn capitalizes.
As Filippini for the Colonels trying to check it back in.
We're going to have a net violation on number 13. Emma Hobart. Or sorry, that's number 3, Jenna Cotter.
Cotter establishing herself here her senior year at Curry College as Morse. Gets that one over. Gideon trying to get that one up. Presscorn. McIntyre right by the net. Finding a woman. Gideon with the dig. Over to Earls. Presscorn with a diving hustle right there. Earls, the emphatic kill on the play. Right-hand side of the court. Oh, my goodness.
And that is exactly what this Colonel squad needed. Just a little bit of time to make a play. The Eagles tried setting up a reverse set from Olivia McIntyre to Cam Schweitzer, and it was a pretty good kill attempt. However, they were able to return it and get a pretty nice kill of their own.
This will be Abby Sosa back again, serving for the Colonels. Trying to keep herself involved as this game progresses. As we look at the orthodox stance from the Eagles here, as Schweitzer looking for the tip from McIntyre. A little bit too much muster there. And the Colonels now slowly but surely building up some points here.
Yeah, within 5 now, Sam. It was a 3-point lead and then an 8-point lead. Now back down to 5. You see things are starting to click a little bit for them. And we saw in the last game, Husson sort of had that slow start.
As that one tipped up over by Schweitzer.
And Husson had that slow start early on. But once you kind of figure things out, get that chemistry going, get used to the players you have out on the floor, and set things up for plays, you could start scoring points, and Curry College is doing just that.
Presscorn with a beautiful dig over to Daniels. Saved by Matheson. Blocked at the rim at the net by Daniels as Earls looks to get it over. Presscorn. McIntyre looking for Daniels. Put that one up. Overhand received by Earls. Cotter out of bounds, and the ball goes back to the Eagles.
And Curry College, the Colonels, trying to find that open space, this time in the far right corner. Just maybe an awkward angle on the hit there by Matheson, and it does not go within the boundaries.
18-13 is the score here in the first set as Travis back into the service box once again. Favors that jump float. Kind of looked like she wanted to just get it just over the net. No dice there. Ball goes back to the Colonels.
And a rare service error there from Travis we saw in that last game. Came in and probably had 3 service aces in her first 2 sets. this time comes in, and she had a service ace early in this game too. This time unable to get that to go.
And the soft serve from Earls dug up a little bit too late there from the Colonels, as that's going to go back to the Eagles. Earls, who just threw that set over.
And that's a tough play to make. You really have to try and get your hands under the ball very fast when it kind of rolls off the net like that, and an accidental double touch gives the Eagles a serve.
As Daniels with a bullet, looks like Sosa was trying to do a center dump, but no dice there, and the Eagles reach 21st.
And the Eagles are really finding a way to get this ball on the ground with these lethal kills. And thought I heard a whistle. They've been able to find a way to get the ball into this open space and quick. Remember in the last game, Sam, we kind of talked about how the Eagles were benefiting from having longer volleys. Today it seems like the shorter the volley, the better the Eagles perform. They're able to make a play faster.
That's something you want to do against the Curry College Colonels, who just have not really, they've been struggling against obviously all season, but those faster paced games have just not been a huge weakness. As
wow,
Prescorn
what a
with the
beautiful
mid-air
lay.
adjustment by Jenna Prescorn. Oh my goodness. An absolute hand-eye coordination went crazy there, Max. Just looked like she was going for the kill and immediately switched hands. It's a nice little bump over the net.
It almost looked like a layup, Sam. And again, Prescorn, known for kind of putting a lot of velocity under those kill attempts, this time just lobs it over the net. And that's the second time she's done that today. And that just is kind of how smart of a player Prescorn is, having that court vision and seeing what's open.
Prescorn in her sophomore year here at Husson University, coming out of Central Colorado from Eagle Crest, having herself a fantastic year. That kill, her kills today put her at over 50 for the year, 22 digs, 6 service aces, a very versatile player for the Eagles.
Wow, what a play there by number 13, Emma Hobart. Just goes for the kill, as we've been saying a few times. This time just spikes it directly into the Eagles player, and it falls out of bounds. Sometimes that's the best play. Just hit it as hard as you can into the outstretched hands of a defender and hope for the best.
McIntyre back into the service box. Obviously very involved in every game she's in. As Matheson, St. Cyr, Abbott tries to get that one. Dug up by McIntyre. Morris looking for Prescorn. Dug up by Matheson. A great adjustment play as Hobart trying to get it over. Levitt with the bump. McIntyre. Prescorn just looking to get it over. Too much power on that last one.
And that's a tough play behind the spike line there. A little bit over a quarter of the way in each zone. It's very hard to get the ball over and down with such velocity from that far back.
Number 23, Jasmine Filippini seeing some time in the service box, the freshman out of Plymouth, Massachusetts. That one out of bounds in her first serve, as the Eagles now 2 points away from closing out this first set. Prescorn will jump into the back here. We mentioned already, having herself a fantastic year. About 6 service aces on the year. Has about .35 service aces per set. Tries to keep her bag as deep as possible in order to help her team win games.
And we've talked about the depth that they have, the Eagles have for freshmen. Don't sleep on those sophomore players. They've been here for a year. They know the system.
As Kaya Earls with an emphatic kill right there, right off the hands of Peruti and Schweitzer, just knocks it right back and feeds her team a very big point.
And you wonder what the strategy here for the Colonels is. Do they try and set something up, or do they just go for these emphatic kills, as the Eagles are only 2 points away from closing out the set?
As Schweitzer met at the net by Earls. Earls looking for it again. Trying to tip it over the net. No good. And the Eagles now 1 point away from closing out set number 1.
And Matheson was trying to get a low angle. Kind of the front court was left empty on the far side. Tried to get it over and lay it to that area. Instead, doesn't put enough on it, and it just falls on her side of the net.
See Peruti going back to the sideline, hyping up her team as Earls ricocheted off, and that's going to do it for the first set. The ace from Mae Morris leads to the Eagles, taking the first set 25-18.
And if you're Alex Gordon and this Eagles squad just in general, you're loving it. You started the last game going down 2 sets. It has to feel good to have the advantage early on.
Absolutely. We're going to see a lot more action here real quick. We'll take a couple minutes and be right back for set number 2. Don't go anywhere, folks. You are watching Husson Eagles Sports Network. All right, back in action here at the Newman. Eagles up 1-0, coming away with 25-18 win in set number 1. Max, what did the Eagles do in that first set that helped them pull away with that win?
Well, I really think it boils down to Olivia McIntyre and her versatility. Started the game with 2 service aces and then really just fed the ball to her teammates and allowed for easy points early on. And you also can't discredit Prescorn's ability to just send lethal kills into the floor, and they're just racking up the points that way.
So far for both teams, the Eagles leading the way with 13 kills as opposed to the 2 by the Colonels, as well as 32 total attacks and a 29 or nearly 22% hitting percentage with 12 assists, 5 service aces, and 7 service errors to go along with that set win in number 1. So we'll see if they can keep up the mojo. But Max, what do the Eagles got to do or the Colonels got to do rather, to kind of just come back into this game?
When they started slowing down and taking their time, as you get a nice kill there from number 10, Jenna Prescorn. The Colonels, what they need to do is slow the ball down. You saw at the end of that last set, they were kind of able to get something going. Were able to stay within about 5 of the Eagles. There's another service error there from the Eagles. We'll keep this one tied. But long, drawn-out possessions, Sam, is what I think the Colonels need to do to keep themselves in this set.
Definitely trying to favor Definitely trying to play the long game in this one as Hobart gets that one ricocheted off the net. As Filippini will take her place. Morse will come back in to serve, and Beal replaces Peruti in that middle blocker section. So we'll see here what the Eagles do, what they continue to do to win this game. Morse floats wide one up, and a service ace once again from Morse. Very, very similar to how that first set started. Just a service aces from the Eagles, really just leading the charge.
And first New England College, Morse really liked to put the ball close to the net, maybe hope for that roll. That time, just lobs it up a little bit and puts it in a spot that a Colonel defender was not able to get to fast enough.
As Daniels, the emphatic kill right there. Law and Order special victim unit there right there with that kill. Really putting things together for the Eagles. As the Eagles now with a early 3-point lead in this first set. Morse, third straight serve in this. Floats it just over the net. Filippini with a dig. Sosa trying to find Earls. Couldn't react and get to it in time. Earls just tried to push that one over. Nonetheless, the Eagles now are rolling in this second set.
And Sam, there is nothing better in the game of volleyball than when you have one person who just goes on a tear at the service line like Morse is doing right now.
As Morse floats it just right up, dug up by Matheson. Sosa looking for Kramer.
And that one's going to be a tough call. We'll see what it is. They'll give it to the Eagles.
Kramer seeks some action here in this second set. Just tried to get it right close to that right-hand side, but just no dice on that one. Like you just said, Max, a very close call, but the official saw it the Eagles' way. As that one dug up by Matheson. Kramer once again with a tip. McIntyre. Morse finding Schweitzer. No good. Sosa with a dig. Matheson looking for Kramer again. Off the fingers.
My goodness.
Morse with a beautiful reaction play, but just sailed out of bounds as the Colonels now with a chance to put some points on the board.
And that's a really hard dig to make. Outstretched with one hand, no palm side. You have to use the top side of your hand. And I think we talked about it on Friday, but that is just so hard to really have any control of where it goes.
As Morse picks up the serve from Abbott. And that one killed right down by Alexa Beal in the middle of the net. Put that one right onto the right-hand side of the floor. And the Eagles have really found their groove here in this second set.
And that one lands just right in front of Megan Abbott, who was kind of, I think, expecting it to come closer to where she was, and it was too late when she noticed she needed to step forward.
Check it in for the Colonels is number 18, Maddie Cosentino, as the serve from Travis goes nowhere.
We'll have some substitutions here now for the Colonels. Maybe just trying to use some different personnel, see what they can get going before they go down more than the 4 points they already are.
Emma St. Cyr stepping in to the service box. Has not seen a lot of action today, relatively quiet. If you're the Colonels, head coach Alex Adelman, definitely want to have a point of emphasis of giving the ball and placing it in St. Cyr's hands as much as you can. As that one dumped over by McIntyre, dug up by St. Cyr. Matheson looking for Gideon. Floated right over. McIntyre setting up Daniels and met in the net by Gideon and Cosentino. Wow, an emphatic block right there from the middle blockers.
And wow, Gideon able to just get her hands all the way up in the air and create almost like a cement wall that the kill attempt just bounces directly off of with a lot of speed, and the Eagles unable to react in time.
The placement was perfect from McIntyre, but the Colonels there with a great reaction play as Daniels tries once again, and this time it goes on the left-hand side and extends this lead back up to 4 for the Eagles.
And Daniels, one of the freshmen we talked about, who is showing a lot of potential early on in her rookie season here. Again, 11 kills in her real first full debut versus New England College. And off to a great start here again. Service error on that one, though.
Hit with the service error as Level will check back in to replace her. As Kaya Earls sets back to serve for the Colonels. Earls, as we talked about, having herself a very good year. She's made some good plays in this game. A little bit quiet, but nonetheless, a very big point of emphasis for the Colonels. As the reaction play from Hobart there, scores another one for the Colonels. Looks like McIntyre didn't know whether or not that one was going to go over the net, and Hobart picked up on it just like that. As Earls tries once again, just shy of the net. Wow, that was launched. That was an absolute missile from Earls.
And I think Levette was going to make a play on that one, and at the last second realized that that one was sailing out of bounds. Kind of just fell to the floor. A very smart and top-headed play there by Levette.
Oh, Captain, my Captain, that was a bullet right there from Earls. As she digs that one up and going over the net. And looks like we have another violation by the Colonels.
And I'm not exactly sure what that one was. I think potentially might have hit it with the wrong part of her hand there. Sometimes, Sam, very hard to determine what the violations are. It comes down to anything, really.
As dug up by Travis, looking for somebody, finds Peruti, and that one's good to go off the hands of Matheson. Peruti seems like anytime she just checks into the game, she just makes things happen.
And that was the case on Friday, too. Peruti really had a huge impact in bringing that sort of rally that the Eagles had. And that time, Matheson, it sometimes is a gray area of where your hands are supposed to be. Do you go for the bump? Do you go for the set? When it's right around your face and upper body area, it's really hard to determine. And that time, she tries to go for the set, and it comes off of her hands and just directly into the net.
And you got to attribute that to the volleyball players that we have out here. Really, because people really misunderstand like how hard it is to really just make those reaction plays in the snap of a finger. I mean, you really got to adjust. Like, you got to be on your toes thinking, all right, do I have to bump it or do I have to overhand receive it? It really just comes down to how fast you can react. And as we can see, both these teams are excellent in their craft in their own right.
And not just the reaction time, Sam, but also hand-eye coordination is so huge in the game of volleyball. You have to be on point with that reaction time in order to make a play and keep up with the rest or whoever your competition is. D3 college volleyball is a very competitive sport, and maybe not as much as you see in the Olympics, but still a very fast-paced game that you have to be extremely talented to play.
Absolutely. As we resume play off the timeout, Alexa Beal back into the service area for the Eagles, looking to see if they can build upon their lead. Dug up by Madison, who's been very involved. St. Cyr for Hobart, met of the net, and Peruti and McIntyre combining with a huge block right there for the Eagles.
And that has been their bread and butter. Peruti and McIntyre, really a combination of McIntyre and another player on this team, sometimes Beal, sometimes Schweitzler, going up and making the defensive play.
As Hobart looking to just dig it up, found by Prescorn. McIntyre looking for Peruti, met of the net, and that's going to be scored to the Colonels.
And so that one comes right off the net. And normally, if it's a blocked ball that comes back over the net and you touch it right off the block, you have a chance to hit it again. But in that case, it hit the net. It didn't make contact with skin from a Colonels player, so that counts as a double hit and a point for the Colonels.
As Madison looks to float that one over and gets that one right off the hands of Levitt. Just could not really seem to get that one to go. Levitt had perfect position right there. It looked like she was just going to bump it right up, but the ball just floated right off her hands.
Again, we talk about that hand-eye coordination, super important. Levitt, one who does not make a lot of mistakes, does there, but they'll get the point back off the service error by the Colonels.
That was Sonia Matheson once again, who has been super involved in this game. Matheson once again having herself a fantastic year. Out of the 12 digs that they have in this game, Matheson has about 3 of her own, so she's definitely very involved. As Gideon tries to just spike it right over. And that one going back to the Eagles.
And you've got to give credit there to Emma Hobart. That serve from Olivia McIntyre looked like it was going out of bounds. I think just, again, being able to tell where these serves go when they're going as fast as they are is a true talent, and Hobart was able to do that there.
As Madison made the adjustment, back over to the Eagles side of the net. Schweitzer, what a big-time play. Met at the net by Abbott and Hobart, but Schweitzer was having none of it.
And Schweitzler has been kind of the player that is able to perfectly place the ball when going for the kill on 2 defenders, if you get it a little bit below the upper forearms, it's going to fall down to the ground, and Schweitzer has mastered that.
That's Schweitzer's 3rd kill on the game as the Colonels are met by the net at the Eagles. Over to Presscorn. McIntyre. Back to Presscorn. Reaction play from Matheson. Looking for Gideon. No good there. McIntyre looking for woman. Finds Schweitzer again. Matheson overhand receive. St. Cyr. Earls. Dug up by Levitt. McIntyre looking for woman. Schweitzer once again. St. Cyr, ball in her hands. Matheson looking for Hobart. Met at the net by Peruti, and Schweitzer combining for the iron wall of defense.
And just another great defensive play, but I want to talk a little bit more about the volley. I feel like this game for the Eagles has been the art of deception by Olivia McIntyre. It looks like she's going to make the set to someone on the far side of the court, and then suddenly will just tip it back behind her, and the Colonels are not expecting it.
Bagger Chicks is deep for Olivia McIntyre, the senior out of California. As Presscorn, wow, almost took somebody's head off with that one. As Hobart gets it right past Schweitzer and Peruti right there. Hobart, an emphatic play to get her team the point.
And Schweitzer and Peruti kind of just similar situation to the kill attempt that went against the Colonels previously. The ball just hits a little bit below that forearm. It's going to fall down to the ground, and that's exactly what happened there. And Sam, now a 7-point lead for the Eagles.
Sosa back into the game to serve for the Colonels. Really favors those soft serves. As McIntyre looking for woman. Schweitzer with the tip. No good on that one. Just slightly out of bounds. And the Colonels are in double digits.
And that's a tough play to make with someone in front of you trying to lob it over. If you have enough space before the defenders get to the net, sometimes you can make that lob, but right there, unable to do so. Didn't really see where the floor was.
That one sails out of bounds by Sosa. Eagles will get it back up to 17 now. 17-2 is the score here in this second set.
And a much faster paced set here from both teams, but especially the Eagles. And I don't know if it's because we sat and waited for statisticians to get the stats right in the books, but a much faster paced set now.
As Schweitzer trying to tip it up over the dig from Earls. And no good there, just met by the net as it goes back to the Colonels. Number 23, Jasmine Filippini checking in once again for the Colonels, having herself a fantastic year. Seems to be on the podium for every stat you can think of for this Colonels team. As Daniels checking up over there.
Wow.
Reaction play from Sosa.
Holy, that was.
Oh my goodness.
What a play.
As Peruti dug up by the Colonels. Abbott, Daniels, McIntyre looking for a woman. Presscorn back row. Matheson with the reaction play. Tries to bump it over. She does. Presscorn dug up. McIntyre. No good there. Dug up by the Colonels. Sosa dumps it right over. Dug up by Morse. And Peruti met at the net. And no good there. Man, what action there. We need to talk about that reaction play there from Sosa. That really just kick-started that volley.
I was just going to talk about that. Sosa, I was paying attention to Filippini, and then Sosa just flies in from up the court, making an incredible diving dig, sending the ball backwards, and ultimately, Sam, it results in a point for the Colonels.
These Colonels love Sosa, as this one by the Eagles just no good on that play. Looks like that was the newly checked in Maddie Shepard for the Eagles, just trying to get that one in. No good there. As Presscorn. McIntyre looking for Daniels. Minute the net once again. And all of a sudden, Max, seems like the Colonels are starting to finally find their rhythm.
And again, when they have some time to really draw out the play, they're able to put points on the board. This team is way more talented than their record speaks.
It looks like the Eagles are going to take a timeout. We'll take a quick one, too. Don't go anywhere, folks. You are watching Division III Volleyball on the Husson Eagles Sports Network. Back in action here. Eagles up 17-14 in the second set. Max, what have the Colonels have been doing that's really just sparked their comeback?
I think we talked about it a little bit, but really just taking the time to formulate a play and catch the Eagles off guard. Wow, what a reaction play there.
That was Presscorn. McIntyre back to Presscorn. Back row attack, and that one's good.
And
wow, what a reaction play from Presscorn to set things up there.
And that one was all Presscorn. The kill attempt, the return dig on the very fast block there from the Colonels, and then finally ending the volley there with a beautiful kill all around. Presscorn with just an incredible play.
As Earls went for the emphasis on that kill, met by the net, and the Eagles now regain their lead back up to 5. As Morris steps back into the server's box, having herself a fantastic game, has a couple service aces and some absolutely fantastic reaction plays. As Madison digs that one up, Sosa, Abbott off the hands of Beal, and the Colonels now really just coming alive here in this second half of the second set.
Only a 4-point game now, Sam, as we are closing in on these last few points. And the Eagles continuing to have some errors. That one was just a tough play to try and get back.
As McIntyre gets the dig, going to Maddie Shepard, and not quite sure what the call was right there from the official.
There is going to be an underhand violation. You cannot use the palm of your hand. And that one was not... The hand was not turned over far enough to the ref's liking. It's another point for the Colonels.
What would I do without you, bro? As Daniels over the net there. Sosa trying to find Earls. Taps that one up. Dug up by McIntyre, but no good on the play. Earls with a very soft kill attempt right there. McIntyre with the effort to try to just hoist it up.
And that is the definition of court vision. Earls right there sees number 14 for the Eagles, Maddie Shepard, make her way up to the front of the net. And as she's going for the jump, as she's jumping up, able to lay it over just behind her.
As Daniels gets the serve from the checked-in Molly Gamache, no good there. As Earls once again going for the emphasis, dug up by Presscorn. Morse finding Daniels. Filippini with a dig. Sosa. Earls once again met by the net. And the Eagles now reaching 21st in the second set. But now we need to talk about the Colonels, Max. It seemed like in that first set they were just kind of slowly struggling. They had their moments here and there, but just really couldn't seem to figure it out. But in this set they certainly have.
Yeah, they really have done a good job formulating a game plan. And maybe that was the issue in the first set, was they didn't really know how to attack this Eagles squad. And now they've kind of found a rhythm here and are continuing to do that.
As the dump by Beal, looks like there was a little miscue between her and Gamache right there, but nonetheless, it results in the Eagles tagging on another one on the board.
And now if you're the Colonels, what is your game plan here? Only 4 points to play with here, and the Eagles have possession right now. You've got to play essentially a perfect rest of this set to stay in it.
As Kramer gets that one dug up by Presscorn. Daniels out of bounds. And the Colonels now, like we said, really finding their groove. Down by 3. This is the closest it's been since 3-1 in the first part of this early set, in this second set. So we'll see what happens here. And new substitutions for the Eagles. Talked about the sophomore Molly Gamache checking in for Olivia McIntyre, but also the junior Leah Peliquin from Somersworth, New Hampshire, coming onto the court for some action here.
And a weird formation there from the Eagles on that serve. It ends up working out for them and results in a point. I have not seen that L-shape for a serve, leaving pretty much the entirety of the court open. I guess Coach Alex Gordon knows what he's doing there.
As that was Michaela Gray on the set right there, off the kill right there.
And Michaela Gray had herself a game last time too. Really sparked that rally for the Eagles last time, one of the freshmen that we talked about.
As Earl's a little tricky business right there. She really seems to be favoring those softer shots, trying to make the Eagles play guess who with these kill attempts right here. Looking like she's going to come and absolutely murder the ball, but just fakes them out last second. as that one sails out of bounds. And the Eagles hold on to their 4-point lead in this set. As you can hear, the Eagles' nest and all the energy here just staying high as always, as it does here in the Newman. The Eagles looking to close this one out. 2 more sets. 2 more points, rather. As Hobart with the dig. St. Cyr back to Hobart. Sails out of bounds. And the Eagles now 1 more point away in closing out this second set.
And if you're the Colonels, you're kind of just trying to get to the end of the set. Yeah, you're going to try and get those points back and try and win this set. But you really got to start thinking about how you're going to attack the Eagles in this next set. I think they need to be a lot more aggressive if they want to bring themselves back into this match.
And the service ace from Beal closes out the second set as the Eagles take it 25-19. We'll be going taking a little break real quick before the action of the third set. Don't go anywhere, folks. You are watching the Husson Eagles Sports Network. Right back at you for the third set of action here at the Newman Gymnasium. The Eagles walking away with that second set after a pretty close comeback from the Colonels now, Max. We saw them build a lot of momentum in that second set. What do they need to do to kind of keep the game tight and potentially send this game into extra sets?
So we're definitely a little bit more aggressive in that second set. I think you can expect for them to continue to be aggressive here with not only their kills, but maybe even their serves, just trying to get quick and easy points. However, sometimes, Sam, it looked like the Colonels were doing better with a longer volley, so it'll be interesting to see what their game plan is exactly.
As looks like the Colonels sticking with their same starting lineup. Gamache and Peliquin still out there for the Eagles. And that looks like the Colonels are going to strike blood first, keeping things.
And the Eagles
Started right there for the Eagles.
Eagles kind of using some players that don't normally make it out onto the court all that often for this third set here. They still have Presscorn out there and Morse, but a few non-familiar faces for at least this game.
It's like Maddie Shepard and Gamache out there for the Eagles, some of their sophomore talent right there. As you said, Max, don't see a lot of action throughout the season, but definitely part of that young foundation that are looking to be the building blocks to a very successful Eagles campaign.
Yeah, remember when these seniors eventually leave after this year, unless, of course, we have some graduate students that are going to play again, they take over. They are the new veterans for this Eagles squad, and a veteran leadership is huge, so it's very important to have them be a good influence on and off the court.
As the error there gives the Colonels the point back, as this will be Megan Abbott now for the Colonels. Abbott having herself a very, very solid campaign for her team. That one dug up by Presscorn with good reaction play, but it looks like Shepard was met at the net by Gideon and Earls combining right there for the emphatic block.
And again, another one of those examples of hitting the ball perfectly below the arms to get it to just fall to the ground. And when you are not directly up on the net, because number 14, Maddie Shepard, was a little bit behind the net, that's a very easy kill for the Colonels.
Like a few service errors right here for both teams as we are knotted at 3 to begin this third set. As Morse, as we talk about a lot in these volleyball broadcasts, really just showing the Eagles that how valuable of a player she is and that what she will be as the season goes on, as Earls, a bit too much mustard on that one, just sails right out of bounds.
And I think just having experience throughout your entire team, not only your seniors who have come in here and have known this system for 4-5 years, but also to get your freshmen and sophomores involved so that they can be those next leaders.
And it looks like Gideon trying to make a mid-air adjustment, but just cannot make up her mind. And as a result, the Eagles now building up their lead up to 2 in this third set, as Morris will go back to serve once again. Seems to really favor just keeping that ball just over the net, as Sosa looking for Earls on the top of the net, and the Eagles will tack on another one right there. We're seeing a lot of action in this service box in this third set. Jump float is up. Gets nothing but net right there. And the ball goes back to the Colonels.
I think they like what they're seeing out of Amanda Morse, not just with some of those crazy plays on defense that we've seen, but also from the service line. Her serve is a little bit hard to track, and it's unpredictable. Sometimes it goes right over the net, bounces off of it, and it's very hard to hit. Sometimes it's a little bit of a lob, but it still has that speed. Very hard to defend if you're the Colonels or really any other team, and I think that's what the Eagles like the most.
As Michaela Gray with an absolute missile to the left-hand side of the court. Right off the assist from Molly Gamache right there. A beautiful play right there from the Eagles as they get the ball back. And this will be Leah Peliquin seeing some action here in the third set. Has not had too many opportunities this season, but has definitely showcased herself to be a very strong player. As St. Cyr tips it up to Earls. A fake. May Morris with a huge play. And that one's dug up by Earls. St. Cyr tapped over and no good there. Max, oh my goodness. Amanda Morris once again with an incredible reactionary play.
And then, Sam, I really wish I could act surprised at this point, but Amanda Morse has just been incredible on the digs that it doesn't even shock me anymore when she makes a crazy play like that and earns the Eagles a point. She's just all over the court at all times, it seems.
As she digs it up right there, and Gideon and Earls combine for the block to get a point back for the Colonels. Yeah, but to your point, Max, really not surprising at this point to talk about Morse and her ability to react and just make these fantastic plays. But as a fan of volleyball and sports in general, you just love seeing those kind of highlight plays happen regardless of how much the outcome is. So, I mean, you know, you really got to respect the craft when it's right in front of you. This will be the junior Morgan Moscato seeing some minutes here. Pardon me, her first minutes ever in this season, has not played at all up until this point. And looks like her time was a little short-lived, just coming into pinch serve as Earls checks back in. And Michaela Gray ready to take the set for the Eagles. She's in with about a couple aces on the year. As St. Cyr looking for Gideon, dug up by Peliquin. Morris tried to, it's like a miscommunication from Gamache and Morris trying to set up Presscorn. And the Colonels will get the ball back.
And just a tough play right there. You're trying to set up Presscorn for another one of those high-velocity kills that she has had all game and really through New England College game on Friday.
As the service ace from Matheson right there to get things going for the Colonels. Back within 2 now.
But those are some of the things that you're going to see when you have freshman and sophomore players who haven't really played a lot come in. You have to feel out those mistakes. You have to learn, and there's no better practice than a game for that kind of situation.
As Morris was trying to dig it up to Gamache, who just couldn't get underneath it in time. And the Colonels now within 1 in this third set. Matheson, who's had a huge impact on this game, just seems to be everywhere on the court for the Colonels. Really making a difference here. As Presscorn meets it right at the net. Oh my goodness, Janet Presscorn, what a play.
Oh my goodness, Sam. We were talking about how we're not surprised that Amanda Morse is all over the court making those plays. We're probably not surprised that Presscorn is coming around and making those emphatic kills. It's just had so much speed on them. You, as a defender, probably are scared, want to get out of the way when those come flying at you.
As Presscorn once again, right on cue, just making things happen for the Eagles. Really just making their presence feel known. Just trying to keep the Eagles, just trying to keep this cushion that the Eagles have with the score right now and not give the Colonels any sort of opportunities for a comeback. This will be Alexa Beal once again, sitting back in the service box. And gets the service ace right there, right in front of Earls. I don't think Earls really knew where that ball was going to be heading, maybe a little bit farther, but nonetheless, Beal has already had 7 service aces this year, make that 8 now. And only had 3 prior in her career, already off to a great start this season. That one dug up by Matheson. St. Cyr, great reaction play. Put down by Presscorn. Hobart tries to get it back up. Dug up by Peliquin. Gamache looking for Peruti. Tapped up. Matheson with the reaction play. Over to Hobart. Met at the net by Peruti as St. Cyr digs it up. Dug up by Gray. Gamache finding Presscorn. Off the hands of Kaya Earls. Oh my goodness. Mama say, mama sa, mama kusa. Jana Presscorn.
And really one of the more impressive things from that sequence right there was Peruti. I don't know if you were watching closely to her, but she was following the ball wherever it went, was ready to make that block as soon as the ball was coming over the net. Watch right here. She's on it again. That one just slips by. It was a little high, but just the anticipation by Peruti is kind of what's really made her known as an elite defender for this Eagles squad.
That last one knocked into balance by number 12, Jess Sullivan for the Colonels, checking in for her first action of this game. As Beal continues just to light it up in that service box. Reaction play by Matheson. As dug up by Beal. Presscorn again. Earls at the net. Presscorn trying to put it down. Sullivan with a dig. St. Cyr back to Sullivan. Dug up by Beal. Gamache looking for a woman. Got Presscorn. Tips it over the net. St. Cyr. Earls. As Matheson tips it back over. Peliquin with a dig. Gamache trying to dump it right over. Matheson finding Hobart. Once again, there's Gray. Gamache with a center dump. Wow, a sneaky play right there from Gamache. Turns that incredibly long volley, finally putting it to an end.
And Gamache, someone we haven't really seen out on the court all that much this season, only 6 total sets played in 4 matches, goes out there and makes a very pretty play on the court to put the Eagles up by 7 points now.
As Beal, once again, just continuing to tear it up in that serve area. As Gamache finding Presscorn, met at the net, but goes out of bounds. It was right off the hands of Sullivan and Hobart. But the Eagles now just seems like point after point, they are just rolling.
Sullivan and Hobart were in great position there to make the block. The only thing they had their hands in the right place. It hit them exactly where it's supposed to if you want to get a block. But number 10, Presscorn, just with an incredible block over on the far side, and it goes out of bounds.
As Hobart makes a beautiful play out of what could have been a catastrophic situation, as that one dug up by Abbott. Peliquin there, Gamache. Peruti tried to put it down. St. Cyr with a dig. Over to Matheson. Sullivan met at the net by Peruti, as Earl just has to put it over. And right off the hands of Beal. Didn't really know where that ball was going, just couldn't get to it in time. And the Colonels now finally with trying to get some momentum back onto their side.
And another one of those kind of awkward situations to be put in there for Alexa Beal, where the ball is like kind of at head level, upper body level, and you don't really know where to go with it. And this time she goes for the set, and it goes straight forward. And it results in a point for the Colonels, who, like you said, Sam, are starting to put some on the board here late in the third.
As Sosa gets that one up, overhand received by Gray. Looking for Presscorn. Presscorn just taps that one right over the net. Continuing to put on a show. That puts her at 12 kills on the day. Joanna Presscorn, ice cold. This will be Gamache stepping into the service area now. Has no service aces on the year. Has not seen very many minutes in that service area. Relatively high serve. Sosa looking for Hobart. Off the hands of Presscorn. Gamache tried to save it. No good there. And the Colonels now reaching double digits. As we're going to see a few substitutions here for both teams. We've got Maddie Shepard for the Eagles checking back in, as does Jasmine Filippini for the Colonels, stepping into the service area. As the jump float is up. Morris with the dig. Gamache looking for a woman. And a little miscommunication right there. Didn't know, looks like Shepard and Presscorn didn't know who it was going to. As a result, tacks on one more point for the Colonels.
Yeah, it looked like Presscorn didn't even know where the ball was. Almost landed on her right there. And again, Sam, sometimes those miscommunications happen. That's a part of the sport.
As Gray trying to find Shepard. Dug up by Matheson. Here's Sosa. Over to Kramer. And Morris tried with a hustle play once again, tried to dig that one up. But Kramer, beautiful placement right there of the ball. And the Colonels slowly but surely trying to build their way back up into this set.
And the Eagles kind of just left a circle wide open in the middle of the court. And the Colonels do a great job taking advantage of that.
As Morris made the reaction play, but nobody home for that ball to go over. As the Colonels now just tacking on the points right now in this third set. As Beatrice Terzi checks in for the Eagles. Alexa Beal will take a seat. Filippini remaining to stay hot in that server's box. Presscorn. Gamache looking for a man or woman. Finds Peruti. Reaction play from Presscorn. Dug up by the Colonels. Abbott gets it over the outstretched arms of Peruti. And the Colonels now within 3 in this third set.
I think there's a lot of miscommunication here from this Eagles squad in this third set. And that might just stem a little bit from the fact that these players really don't see each other out on the court that much. That's usually a different lineup. A bunch of freshmen and sophomores that don't play a lot are out there. So just a little bit of a communication error. They'll get the hang of it.
As Gamache tried to dig that one up, sailed out of bounds. That's Nia Earl is letting them know that she's cooking right now.
The Eagles will take a timeout here. They definitely need to discuss what their game plan is going forward, as they've let the Eagles, or the Colonels rather, come in within 2.
We'll keep it right here as both teams talk it over, Max. So it seems like the Eagles really just, as you said, maybe not clicking right now in this third set. A lot of these players, some of these younger players have not really seen the court as much as these veteran players have. So what do you think the adjustment needs to be from here on out for the Eagles to just take this thing home?
I feel like a huge part of playing volleyball, we've talked about it for both teams and on Friday as well, is slowing it down and really making sure that you're making the most of your opportunities. You need to be able to see the court and what's out there before you just blindly try and kill the ball or make a wrong pass. You got to see the court on both sides, your offensive side and the side you're trying to score on. So I think the Eagles just need to, especially with this group of players that aren't out on the court very much, just need to slow it down, take their time. They have the lead, and they can close out the match right here if they just concentrate a little bit more on getting the ball where it needs to go.
And focusing on the Colonel side of things, they've really just mounted a big old comeback here. They were down double digits at one point, now brought it within 2. Max, what do they need to do to send this thing into extra sets?
And they really have had a lot of momentum here. And I think what they need to do is just keep their foot on the pedal, continue to be aggressive at the line as they have this entire third set.
As Filippini sends it over to resume play, dug up by Terzi. Gamache emphatically trying to be killed by Presscorn. Dug up right there. That one sent over by Kramer. Sails right out of bounds. Just what the doctor ordered for the Eagles. Just trying to get something going here. And that's got to feel good to just keep this lead a little bit comfortable for them for the time being.
Yeah, 3-point lead now. You definitely feel a little bit more comfortable, especially as you're getting up to about 20 points, knowing you only have to score 5 or 7 more.
As that one bumped over by Sosa. Gamache looking for Shepard.
Wow, what a play there by Gamache and Shepard. We talked about how Olivia McIntyre kind of has that art of deception. Never know where the set's going to go. This time, Gamache able to set it up for Shepard behind her back and spike it or kill it over the net, kind of the far side. Not in the back row, though, right up front, and the Colonels were not expecting it.
Looks like that one that we just talked about was awarded to the Colonels for a net violation. And all of a sudden, with that error right there from the Eagles, the Colonels now find themselves within 1 in this third set. It seems like these errors for the Eagles have been costly. A little miscommunication, and now the Colonels with a prime chance to keep things going.
Yeah, if they're going to strike, they need to strike now. But oh my goodness!
Kayla Gray nearly sent that one ricocheting up into the basketball hoop up there. It was Filippini making the dive for it.
So I wonder what the rule is, Sam. If it hits the backboard, does that still count as being in play?
I mean, personally, if it was up to me, if it bounced up and went into the hoop, game's over.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
100%. You win the game if you're somehow able to pull that off. But from a logistical standpoint, like, that ball was sailing out of bounds.
Oh, absolutely. And, I mean, I'm not too sure how that works with these basketball hoops just kind of in the way. I mean, normally these players are very talented enough to keep the ball away from soaring that high. But as we saw right there, you know, strange things can happen. So, as looking like another discussion with our statistics team down there.
And what will the band play this time? See if they're prepping themselves over there. It doesn't look like it. Maybe giving the statisticians a break this time.
Yeah, definitely a little bit of entertainment today in this game on the band side of things. We don't normally see them break character and perform little stuff like that unless we're going to timeouts or halftime. So definitely a lot of credit to the band for just thinking on their feet right there.
The Eagles Nest and really the Eagles team themselves have had a little bit of fun these last few games today, of course, with the band playing the Jeopardy music. But remember on Friday versus New England College, we kind of had a similar situation, and Eagles players just started doing the worm on the court, and the crowd loved it. Just a team that knows how to have fun.
Dance battles, a lot of just giggling and happiness on the sideline. That's what the Eagles really just are all about. Speaking to Olivia McIntyre earlier this week, she just really likes to emphasize how much fun her and her team have on and off the court. You see it in the chemistry with the veteran players, like all the juniors and seniors, and with the younger freshmen and sophomores up and coming. They all have a really, really good bond, and they know each other so well. And, you know, and you can see it on the court. They're always smiling regardless of the outcome. They're always just having a good time. And it's beautiful to see as a fan of the sport. Now, going back to the game, it seems like the errors for the Eagles have been kind of costly, and the Colonels have been able to take a very big advantage of that as they find themselves within 2.
And still waiting on this. Sam, I want to dial it back a little bit, back to the topic of having fun on the court and with your team. Sure, there is definitely a level of competitiveness you need to have and seriousness throughout practices, in games. But as someone who is a former student athlete, it is entirely important that you have those like friendly connections with your teammates as well. That's a huge part of the chemistry. It's not just what's on the court. Having that off-the-court chemistry and just having fun is a huge part of being an athlete and being a successful team.
As we await the whistle from the officials, one of them having a chat with head coach Gordon on the opposite side of the court. Both these teams really chomping at the bit to resume play here.
So, a little bit surprised we haven't heard the band yet. I think we're about to go back to the action right now. There's the whistle.
As they're ready to resume play, let's see if the Colonels can come back or if the Eagles can close this one out. As that one dug up by Matheson. Earls. Filippini just has to bump that one over. There's Morse. Gamache. Michaela Gray. Looks like they're going to say just sailed right out of bounds. And the Colonels now within one in this third set.
I think some of these points that have been given up by the Eagles, they have a good play set up, Sam, but sometimes getting the right height on that set to set up someone like Michaela Gray on the far side of the net, especially when you're trying to spike to the far side, you got to keep the ball up in the air somehow. The angle just isn't there sometimes.
As that one dug out by Presscorn, Beal just taps it right over the hands of Gideon and Earls. And the Eagles now, they reach 20 and 5 more points away to close out this one in a sweep.
We talked about what the Eagles needed to do to just close this one out, not have to worry about going to a fourth set. And we talked about how it needs to just be the smart plays. And right there, Alexa Beal makes a very intelligent play, just laying it over, not trying to put a lot of speed on that kill. Instead, a little bit of a layup into the open court on the other side.
And that's really something we've really seen over the past few years with these players like Beal, Terzi, Schweitzer, McIntyre, some of these tenured players. You see the improvements in their game as the years progress. We saw that their decision-making is a lot sharper. They're able to just react a lot quicker now. It really just goes to show how much of an impact these veteran players have been for the Eagles, and showcasing their talent in this game has been especially prevalent. And we look at the lineups right now for both teams. We have, for the Eagles, Molly Gamache, Michaela Gray, Amanda Morse, Alexa Beal, Jenna Presscorn, Maddie Shepard, and Leah Peliquin over there on the sideline. And for your Colonels, we have Laura Gideon, Kyra still out there, Jasmine Filippini seeing a lot of action. Looks like Jess Sullivan out there, Emma St. Cyr, and Sonia Matheson to close out this set. Now the Colonels really just having a firestorm of a comeback here. They were struggling very early on in the game. We saw them make a little bit more of a comeback in that second set, and now it just seems like they need to find just some sort of adjustment and make a little tweak in order to come back into this game.
And a lot of teams, the way it'll work is if they start off kind of losing the first set in dominant fashion as the Colonels did, they'll kind of figure out what the opposite team is doing, and that was the case against the Eagles in that second set. They sort of figured out what their like basic game plan was, and then they've really got it down to a T now and have been able to keep up with the Eagles. But again, some errors and just some unlucky plays as well have kept them from taking the lead in this third set.
As an unorthodox setup from the Colonels right there. Must have paid off in some regard as Peliquin could not get that one over the net. She'll stay out there as Emma Hobart checks in for Filippini, and Earls will be back to set for the Colonels, having herself a very good game as well. That one rifled over to Morse. Gamache gets underneath it. Had to push her right up. Another miscommunication there for the Eagles.
And that's just basic volleyball right there. When it's up in the air, someone calls it out. When someone calls it out, everybody else is supposed to get out of the way, and I don't think I heard any names said right there. Again, just a testament to having new players on the squad.
As the service ace right there from Earls, and we are knotted at 20 in this final set. Morse tried to get underneath and make something happen, but the Colonels now in a prime place to take their first lead of the set. As that one meets nothing but net right there. Eagles get the ball back.
So if you're the Eagles, how aggressive do you want to be on closing this one out? They've got Michaela Gray serving now, and she, in the last 2 games, has been pretty good from the line.
Gray rather unorthodox with her serve. Tried to see a little bit of an adjustment. That one touched over the net.
We'll see what they call it. That was very close. It almost looked like Presscorn there touched the net, and I think that's what the Colonels coach is a little bit upset about right now. It definitely looked like that could have happened.
Colonel's not very happy about that play. As Gideon tried to save it, goes into the bleachers, and the Eagles now, after that offensive clinic by the Colonels, have primed themselves just 2 points away from closing out this 3rd set.
Yeah, and if you're Coach Alex Adelman, you got to be a little bit upset about that call. If you ask me, I think Presscorn definitely did touch the net there, and in a set that is going to decide the game. Game ends if the Eagles win this particular set. That's a huge call to make.
Yeah, those kind of calls happen all the time in any sport. And volleyball is just so tough because when it seems like they might be a little bit too close to the net, I mean, even though the official's right there, I mean, it happens so fast. I mean, he just has to make a decision on the fly. I mean, it looks like he feels he got the call right. So, I mean, you know, those things can really go either way.
It's really tough. He is right in front of the net, so you got to trust what the official is saying. I think the Colonels, though, would disagree with the call.
Nonetheless, we will be back in action here as the Eagles will get the serve back. Gray back into the service area. Gray coming into the later half of this game saw a lot of action against New England College, but now it looks like Gordon had some sort of game plan going into it as Gray has really seen more of her action in the second half of the set. As there's St. Cyr over to Sullivan. Gray, Gamache, looking for a woman. Here's Presscorn. No good there. Looked like the Colonels were ready for it at the net, but a little bit too short from Gamache, and it's back within 2.
I think Presscorn was anticipating to have the ball on the far side of that net, and it came up a little bit short. Had to try and run in front of Alexa Beal. Just not enough room to get through and make a substantial enough play on the ball to get it over the net.
Head coach Adelman staying very vocal for the Colonels here as that one's set over to Beal. Tip back up and in. Beal, a great reaction play as Sullivan over to Morse. Dug up and just a little bit too shy there for Presscorn. Trying to get that one over from the hustle place of the Eagles, and it's back within 1.
A few very emphatic digs right there, and we'll get a timeout as this one's really close. Yeah, Sam, it just a sequence of events right there for the Eagles where you're trying to get the ball into someone's control and just unable to because it's out of reach every time. You like to see players get their hand under there and keep the ball up, but eventually you're going to run out of hits, and they did there.
And especially in this close of a game, there's really no room for error when you're 2 points away from trying to close out this game in straight sets. I mean, obviously you want everything to go your way as much as you can, but when those plays happen, you know, it's just volleyball. Yeah. You just got to have that mentality of just, you know, move on, next play, and just keep going. I mean, this is something that the Eagles have done quite a bit. I saw another dance battle right over there. They're busting a move, just all smiles and all happiness over there. And we are absolutely blessed to be witnessing a game like this today, just seeing 2 teams who are just, at this point, really just trying to find their mojo, and Husson has certainly done that. But give a lot of credit to the Colonels. Regardless of this outcome, they have put up a fantastic fight in this game.
They have, and really only that first set was a total domination by the Eagles. These last 2, the Colonels have kept it close and really have displayed a lot of talent on their team. And while they will, if they're unable to close this out, will fall to 0-6, you have to believe that they have a lot of hope going into the rest of the season.
As Gamache just to set up Presscorn, dug up by the Colonels. As Morris gets that one over the net. Reaction play. Gamache once again finds Presscorn. Dug up by the Colonels. Hobart tries to send it back up. Gamache. Presscorn again. Men in the net. Morris, another great play. As Beal just slams that one down in the face of Jess Sullivan. And the Eagles now 1 point away from closing out the sweep.
And that one was just an incredible reaction play by Amanda Morse again. We've talked about a few times now just how all over the court she is, and she was again there.
And the service error right there from Beal gives the ball back to the Colonels. And, of course, it is win by 2, so the Colonels got to score the 3 points here to kind of keep it, just kind of come back into this set. As Beal takes a seat for the Eagles.
And remember, Sam, it is a win by 2, so if the Colonels are able to get a point here, they'll have a little bit more room to work with.
The energy now starting to pick up as this set reaches its potential conclusion. As Sosa, dug up by Gray. Over to Peruti trying to get that one over. Madison finding Hobart. Stuffed at the face, and that's going to do it. Alana Peruti blows out the candle to the Colonels' comeback, and the Eagles come away with a 25-23 win and 3 straight sets for the sweep against the Curry College Colonels.
And Alana Peruti once again is the closer, this time on defense, just able to get her hands up in perfect position and force the ball into a place where there is no one standing for the Colonels. And Sam, a very impressive win for the Eagles as they will move now to 2-5 or 2-4.
2-4 now are the Eagles on the season. Their next game will be against Central Maine Community College on September 11th. And the Curry College Colonels fall to 0-6 on the year, have yet still to win any sort of sets, as they will be moving on to face Johnson and Wales in their next game as well.
If you're the Curry College Colonels, Sam, you have to leave today with at least a little bit of confidence in what you have on the team. Kept it very close with this talented Eagles squad in those last 2 sets. The first one, they kind of just needed some time to see what was going on, see what the Eagles were doing, but once they kind of knew, they were able to keep it close.
And just quick stats before we let you go. Leading the way for the Eagles with their total kills with 13 was Gianna Prescor, and she had her paw prints all over this game. Alana Peruti and Kimberly Daniels combined for 8 of their own as well. And for the Colonels, Emma Hobart led the way with 6, and Earls with 3, and Morgan Kramer with 2. And that's going to do it for us here on the Husson Eagles Sports Network. For Max Sturm, I'm Sam Miller saying thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time, and God bless.